right, good afternoon, everyone. It's Make It Monday. Who's excited? I am. So I have been challenged to make a monochromatic card, to even include the coloring to be monochromatic. So we're going to use Happy Birthday Dude, and I'm going to turn him into a Christmas card. And the color I've chosen today is blue. So I know there's a little bit of teal up here, but hey, I really liked this paper, and I don't have a ton of Christmas paper. So yeah. So I'm going to start by punching, corner punching all of these pieces. I've pre-cut everything for my card, so you guys didn't have to sit and wait and watch me cut everything. And then I'm going to glue all the layers together, but I'm not going to glue the card together yet, because I might change my mind. So we will see. Hello, hello. Who is here watching? Do you mind commenting so I can see if Facebook comments are actually working today? It would be great. All right. My handy dandy corner rounder. I love it. Okay, so I am going to set my card base aside. This is a 5.5 by 5.5 card. I am going to start by gluing down my layers. I like to pick up my layers to glue them, just so that I can manipulate them a little bit better. And then I flip them over and use my espresso to burnish the glue. So there's my first layer. Okay, glue down my second layer, and I like to leave an 1/8 of an inch border around everything, so I do work in 1/8 a lot. It's just the way I roll. I think it looks clean and nice. I love these little reindeer, super cute. I don't even really know what paper pad this is, because I didn't have the cover of it. It was just a bunch of sheets of paper, so I can't tell you what it was, but it's really cute. Does that count? Okay. So there's that piece. And then this piece, I'm not sure if it's going to go on top or on bottom or what. But I cut it because I liked it. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I'm not really sure if it's gonna go like on top of the deer or if it's gonna go underneath the deer. And that's why I'm not gluing stuff down, because I'm just really not sure where it's gonna go yet. And our new bear pens, they are nickel. So you might notice a slight discoloration of your glue in the beginning. And that's just to get all of the gunk off of it from manufacturing. They are corrosion free, and they fit really snugly in here so that it doesn't let air into your glue. So you might have to, you know, like work it in a little bit, just so you know. Okay, so I have chosen the Happy Birthday Dude. I'm gonna start by stamping him. Again, we are going to be working in monochromatic colors. So usually when I do that, I use my desert sand. The reason I use desert sand is because I like to perhaps like modify things. And so if I need to do that, desert sand I can color over. Also, he is kind of like a paper doll where his clothes are separate. So I'm going to use this stamp pad so I can just go ahead and stamp his clothes and everything all on one layer. And I'll be able to color over everything. Because of the no lines. All right, check him out. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my stamp cleaner. I'm just spritzing it with some water so I can wipe down my stamp. I'm gonna peel him off of there and replace him onto the backing, or the carrier sheet, whatever you like to call it. I'm gonna grab his jeans, and I'm gonna go ahead and line those up. You might see my head in the screen because I'm lining up his jeans. Okay. Well, who's here? Can you say hello, please? So I can see if my comments are working and so I can see who's here. Whoa, I guess that's where that's going. So I know it looks like a bunch of lines and a bunch of crazy, but I can see where his jeans are and all of that stuff. So that's what I want. So I'm gonna wipe that off and put those back on the carrier sheet. And then hold on just a second. I'm gonna grab something. I just had a thought. So these two stamp sets are made to work together. And so I grabbed the outfit of the day girl because there's a hoodie in here. And I'm gonna see if I can stamp that hoodie on him. Maybe. It's gonna take a little creative coloring. but I think I got it. Okay, so I just don't want to stamp that part. Let's stamp it and see. Now I notice this little part right here covers his chin, so I'm just going to wipe the ink off of there. Yeah, it's going to work. All right, here we go. I'm excited. Okay, I'm gonna put my cap on here and put that away before I end up with ink all over my arm. Pull this out. Put this back on the carrier sheet. Grab this carrier sheet. Oops, sorry. Okay, so we're going to use both of these. All right. So since this looks like an absolute hot mess, I'm going to start with whatever I see first. And the most lines and stuff that are confusing to me is the jeans. So I'm just going to go ahead and color his jeans first. It's also the thing I'm the most comfortable with. So again, breaking it down into pieces that work for me. So if you get intimidated by a stamp, or if you've stamped too much stuff, or whatever the case may be, you can definitely do whatever, break it down into pieces and figure out what works best for you. But for now, this is what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to start with my B99. And I'm going to come in under the hoodie. In the fly, I'm going to come around the bottom part here. Like that. Now these are cargo pants, but I don't necessarily have to make them cargo pants if I don't want to. So I actually think that I'm just going to make them jeans and not cargo pants. So we're doing all kinds of modifications here today. All right. No, actually, I kind of like the pockets. I'm going to go ahead and draw the pockets in. He's wearing cargo jeans. It's a thing. Denim cargos. Hey, y'all. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl, do you mind commenting so I can see if my comments are working? Because I don't think my comments are. Okay, so I'm just blending these colors together by overlapping the lighter color on top of the darker color. Hey, pal. Excuse me. I don't see any comments. Okay. Now my third color, this is the true color of the denim, so I want this to have a lot more, I want to be more liberal with this color. All right. Create the creases in his jeans. And again, for those of you that are kind of newer to the whole Copic marker scenario, or even alcohol markers in general, alcohol ink doesn't necessarily blend. When we say blending, it's kind of a misnomer. It layers. The ink is translucent, so you can see the lighter color. You can see the darker color through the lighter color. And that's why we color from dark to light, because if you don't overlap the colors, then you don't get that smooth blend at all. So that is why. Lena, are you able to comment? Oh, yeah, I just got a comment from you. Okay, just making sure. It's always a little bit weird when there's 0 comments. I guess everybody is just concentrating. They're mesmerized. Or y'all are at work and you're watching on silent. Because that happens a lot too. So I'm adding a lot of ink to this to get these two to blend well. I think I'm gonna make his jeans like one shade darker because I can kind of see the line from his shorts. So I'm gonna do another coat and we're just gonna elongate the shadows just a little bit more. I was stamping it extra dark, so I'm not surprised. There's other inks that you can use that have even less of an impact. I know Ink on 3 has a fade out ink that works really well for this, but it does not work well on camera because you guys pretty much cannot see anything, any of the stamped lines when I use that. So it's a very neat ink, and it does definitely fade out. It's very cool. So Lena really challenged me with this monochromatic card. So we're gonna see if I can pull it off. I'm generally not super duper great with monochromatic because your girl likes some color here, but I said on Make It Monday that I was gonna make whatever I was challenged to make. So here I am, holding true to my word. Or at least trying to anyways. All right. Okay. So now I'm going in with my B95. And again, we're gonna blend these together, which is a nice term for layering. I'm just gonna layer. The more ink we put on the paper, the better that blend comes out. Like I said, I just went back in to make these a little bit darker because I could still see some of the lines that I stamped. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to my B93. And there we go. he has some pretty cool jeans going on there. Okay, so then his hoodie now is going to be what I'm going to color next. So I'm going to move these back, and I still want it to be blue, but I want it to be a different color of blue. So we're going to go for some dark blue. I think I'm going to use my B39 and 37. Where is my Copic chart? Where did I put it? Oh, it should be right here. Maybe. At least I thought it was right here. Huh. Oh, here we go. All right. So I pull out my chart when I need help, like picking colors. I like 3-9, and then 3-7 is right next to it. So I feel like there's kind of a big difference in those. So I'm gonna go. We're gonna go B18. Where is it? There we go. And then we're gonna go 14 and 12. So this is gonna go fairly light as well. So we're gonna test these out here. That's 3-9. This is 3-7. Those look good so far. 18. 14, that's going to kind of change the color a little bit, which is what I'm looking for. And then 12. And I think that will go well with this background paper. All right, you guys ready? Now this is going to be a challenge because the lines. So I like to set this here for reference. Okay, so first off, underneath the sleeve, and then the pouch, there's a line underneath the pouch, the kangaroo pouch here. Okay, so there's that. Then this comes up into the sleeve. Like that. Okay, so then we have this part where his hood and his shoulder meet. And same on this side. Okay, then we have the little strings. I'm just going to kind of outline them because I'm going to do them with a white gel pen. So just going to outline them like that. Okay, so now we have his little t-shirt underneath here, and then this is where the hood is. It goes around his face. And then same thing on this side, except for this one, you can see his hair. Like that. Okay, so then the back of his hood is going to come up. Like that. And then it's probably going to have a fairly dark outline around his face. Okay, I think we're well on our way here. Cool. I also think that his sleeves are gonna have some sort of movement there. Okay. Now to B37. I like using the bees when doing monochromatic things because there's so many of them that you really have a very wide array of colors to choose from. And there's a lot of different values of blue. Again, just working around the parts that I'm comfortable with. Elongating these shadows, making them work towards the highlights. Now, we're for sure going to have to fussy cut this because we do not have a die that's going to fit all of the additions and changes that I've made. But that's okay because you guys know I'm a fussy cutter. Okay, going to come down into the main sweatshirt portion here. Notice that I turn my paper a lot. I always want my wrist to be in a comfortable position. Makes it easier to color. Adding some movement to the material where his hands would be. Okay. We are well on our way. Look at that. Can you tell I'm nervous to do his skin? I'm afraid to make his skin blue. Very afraid. It's gonna happen though. Have you guys all started your Christmas cards yet? I'm not a... It's weird, I know. I'm a card maker. I make lots and lots of cards. But I'm not a, like, mail a card kind of person. So if you get a card from me, it's very special because, oh my goodness, I am just not good at mailing cards. I just don't remember. Hey, Sandra. How are you? Are you a mail your Christmas cards kind of person? Today we're doing a whole bunch of modifications on a stamp. We're combining stamp sets and all kinds of good stuff. And I was challenged for this particular edition of Make It Monday to make a monochromatic card to include even the coloring to be monochromatic. So I am trying to hold good on that challenge. I was going to ask you, aren't you overdue? Have you given the little one an eviction notice yet? Why, thank you. It seems like you've been pregnant forever. So that's just my humble opinion. I'm sure you feel like you've been pregnant forever. But at least you get a new little one to have a new Christmas with. That's going to be so fun. Something to look forward to, right? If he comes out by Christmas, sounds like he wants to stay in there. You're 4 days overdue. Yes, I do my nails. This is that dip powder that you sent me that you got me turned on to. The one from Texas, Glitter Done. Now, I'm not totally in love with the way these blues are blending, So I'm going to do a little bit of tip-to-tip blending on these to kind of ease the transitions. So just a couple of brush strokes on the darker blue with my lighter blue, and it will create sort of a mid-tone between the two. The most important thing when you're doing this is to make sure you always have your lightest marker in your hand. Otherwise it's not going to work. And you also have to have your markers like right at your paper. There we go. Much better. Because if you don't have your markers right at your paper, by the time you get to your paper, the lighter marker will have dissipated all of that darker ink. So it doesn't work. Right? It does. Oh, thank you. Yeah, tip to tip is a very underutilized technique, and I use it so many times. I teach it in all of my classes. Okay, so his hair is also going to be blue, but it's going to be a blue-black. So I'm going to take my B12 and I'm going to go ahead and color in his hair. And this is called underpainting. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to stay in that monochrome like blue color, but I also want to have his hair be black, if that makes any sense at all whatsoever. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to come in, I'm going to use my cool blacks because they have that cool base to them, that blue base to them. And by underpainting with the blue, you're going to get even more of that kind of like raven hair. I'm totally scared to do his skin blue, so I'm putting that part off. At least for the time being. Okay. That was C10, so now I'm going to use C8. Got to get his little sideburns. Oh, there's Archie. He's going to growl. So by putting that blue underneath and underpainting with it, it definitely adds more of that blue hue to his hair. I'm going to use C6 now. Especially under these lighter colors. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing to his eyebrows, because the eyebrows got to match the hair, right? Again, I like to work in pieces. Turn it this way. So Sandy, are you up doing like jumping jacks and stuff to try to evict that little baby? Or are you just letting him marinate? I mean, I know this isn't your first rodeo. Okay. So there we go. I'm just about to the point where I cannot put it off any longer. I have to color his skin. So we're going to find a good skin tone and we're going to go with it. Okay. So I'm still going to use, which I don't know what happened to my E000, so I'm going to use E000. But then, excuse me. Ooh, I know I have skin tone, blue skin tone in my, you know, 52 color cards. That's what I was looking for. 52. I want 93. I want 21. And 000. All right, guys, you ready? Hi, Sharon. How are you? We're doing some monochrome coloring today. I was challenged for Make It Monday to do a monochromatic card to include the coloring to be monochromatic. So we're going for it. Even his skin. Scary, scary. I guess I should have done the skin first just in case I messed it all up. But it's so rare that I toss anything that I'm not super duper worried. Okay, now I'm going to go under his chin and above his t-shirt here. I'm going to draw a line across his lips here, outline his nose, and around his eyes. You're watching Christmas movies while I'm making a Christmas card, so we're in the right spot. Okay, so I'm going to go to my B52. We're going to start the shading process. Start sculpting his face a little bit. Might have to go a little bit darker on that shadow. I did put my Christmas tree up, so I have that taken care of. I do have mine up and decorated, but I don't do a whole lot of other Christmas decorations. There's a couple of like signs and stuff, like little wooden signs, and I have a little truck that has a Christmas tree in the back, and I have a snow globe, you know, just like some little stuff. But I don't have like a whole bunch, like I don't do like the archways between the rooms and all of that kind of stuff. I'm just too busy with Sweet Sentiment to really go all out like I used to. So that's fine. It's a good problem to have. Now I have B000. Okay, we're gonna add a little bit of warmth to his face with the E quadruple zero. Okay, and I washed him out quite a bit, so I think I'm gonna add a slightly darker shadow. Can you tell I'm concentrating really hard? There we go. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So see, you guys, even I get intimidated by colors, and I have to go way darker on that shadow in order to make it work. He looks super crazy without his eyes done, doesn't he? And then I'm gonna go back to this E quadruple zero again, just to add a little bit of warmth back in. There we go. All right. So now we need to do his eyeballs and his shoes, because I have not done his shoes yet. Hi, Linda. You are so late. So we're doing a monochromatic card, even to include monochromatic coloring. So, yeah, I was challenged to make this dude blue. So here we are, making him blue. It's a little bit scary, but that's all right. We're gonna make it happen. It's kind of fun, not gonna lie. Oh, you don't have to be sorry, Linda Lou. I'm just glad you're here. He looks cool. Good. I'm glad you think so. I already have my card laid out. I did that earlier, so if you want to go back and watch the replay, you certainly can. I'll put it on YouTube, although I won't lie, my computer's been kind of giving me fits, so the YouTube videos have been going up the day after I do the live. So I'm sure y'all are okay with that as long as they make it up there. Yeah, he is cold. He's like Sandy, he's always cold. All right, so now he has blue shoes. So now we're gonna do the eyeballs. So I'm going to use, I think I'm gonna start with B37. Actually, I need my GOO first. Am I meeting the challenge so far, pal? Lena and I used to always challenge each other online, like a lot. We used to do Facebook Messenger, and she would be like, okay, make a masculine birthday card, go. And then I would make a card, and she would make a card, and then we would compare, and then we would decide who won, or sometimes we didn't even do that. We just, did our thing. And then we would challenge again. And so on and on it went. Yeah, you need to go home if there's frost on your windshield. And that was really how I got into card making to begin with. It was because of Lena. Signing up for Stampin' Up! And making me be her best customer. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my Copic multi-liner. I'm gonna wait for that to dry just a tad. And I'm gonna fill in the centers, his pupils. And he's gonna look like he's really scared for a couple minutes until I get my white gel pen. Okay. The other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my C3, and I'm just gonna color in the very corners of his eye. And then I'm gonna take my colorless blender and look what it did for me. Yep. And I'm gonna kind of blend that out. There we go. Okay. Now it's time for gel pen. I love my Pear Blossom Press gel pen. Once you get it rolling. Okay. Put a little highlight across his head. I'm gonna do these. I'm actually gonna make them just a tad longer. And then his t-shirt. And then a little highlight on his shoes. All right. Look at that, guys. Oh, is my mom here? Okay, so now we're gonna zoom out and you can see the big mess on my desk. And we're gonna fussy cut this guy so that we can add him to the card. So again, I always like to start somewhere fussy cutting that I can kind of ease into the cut so that there's not harsh angles. I also like to leave about 1/8 of an inch border around everything. Give or take a little bit. I'm such a, I like to hold my craft project really close to me. So when I'm on camera and I have to hold this like super far away from me in order to fussy cut on camera, it's really difficult for me. Now, I don't like cut off the tail when I'm fussy cutting generally. I just let it keep going unless it's like some super big, you know, huge project. Because I notice when I cut it off, I generally get like a harsh line or some harsh angle when I'm fussy cutting. And generally speaking, I don't want that. So the paper will naturally fold away from you and I just keep going. So I know some people, it drives them nuts, mainly my bestie Sandy, but hey, I mean, if you can't drive your best friend nuts, what's life good for? Right? So you think this is outstanding, pal? Is that what you're saying outstanding for? My little blue dude? He's part of the Blue Man group. The male guy is here. That is what Archie is barking at. Archie thinks the male dude's super sus. There we go. Kind of lose him on this. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna kind of see where I want this to be. Archie. Because I want to see about adding a sentiment and what to do with the sentiment. Sometimes I like to stamp the sentiment directly on and emboss it. And I think that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to find some sort of Christmas sentiment because, I mean, that seems like the right thing to do, right? So, let's go. really have, that's not a Christmas sentiment that I wanted. Let me think. What Christmas sentiment do I have? I'm not really sure. Okay. Well, let's start putting this together and then we'll see. So, everything today is blue, even that. Makes you want to sing that song. I can't though, because Facebook watches all of these things and then they remove your video. So, I don't want my video removed. And especially since we copy all of these over to our YouTube, I definitely don't want it removed. Oh, I know. Yay, I found the perfect sentiment. It just occurred to me. So this is from our Where It's Warm set, and it says, my favorite winter activity is going back inside where it's warm. And I think that's perfect. So I'm gonna see if I put him here, if this will fit. Oh, it will. Perfect. Yay. So let me grab my embossing stuff and my Misty and take my magnets off. I'm going to put this up here and I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to line this up the bottom. There we go. Move that over. Okay, now I'm going to emboss this in white because I think it will look cool. So my favorite white embossing powder is the Lawn Fawn White. I love it. So I'm going to use my Rabbit Hole Designs embossing tool, especially when embossing in white. I have my Versamark pad. Excuse me. Okay. Stamp this. I always like to double stamp, especially when doing white. I want to just make sure that everything is there. All right. So I'm going to grab this. Looks like it worked great the first time, which makes me very happy. Okay. So I'm gonna set this stuff aside. Now, when you emboss, you need to heat up your embossing tool prior to using it. So give me just a moment. Okay. Should be warm, so we're going to go ahead and emboss. Thank you, Linda. All right. Put my stamp away. Otherwise, I will forget where it belongs. And that's not good. Okay. So make sure that your stamp isn't tacky anymore, and then you can use your espresso to wipe off any extra of the embossing powder. Okay, so now lining that up. And again, I'm gonna flip that over. Now, before I get too froggy, I also like to add paper to the inside. Oh, here it is. And so I just use my paper scraps and I cut them down and use them on the inside of my card. So this one, I'm gonna cut this end off some. And I don't cut them to any like particular length or anything. I just kind of go for it. And it just adds a little something in there. And so I like to, since I don't have a lot of inside sentiment stamps in my repertoire, I like to make sure that I decorate somehow. And then I also will stamp my card at this point before it gets too bulky and I can't stamp it. And I usually always try to choose a pen that matches. So in this case, I have an Erin Condren pen, most likely that Sandy bought me. So there we go, signature done. Now I can go back to this part. So again, I have these little black spots sitting here that Sandy got me. I don't always use them because I prefer to use Sweet Pops, but they happen to be sitting on my desk, so that's what you guys are getting right now. Also, Sweet Pops are larger, so it doesn't require as many. But I do like the black, so they work well with this card and all of the dark blue. All right. Well, this didn't end up being so much of a Christmas card, but more of a winter card, but that's okay. All right. So I'm going to line this one up. And then, just for funsies, I think I'm going to put him on a wobble because he's cold, so he's going to be shivering on a wobble, right? I'm going to put it right under his pocket. Can't get it lined up where I want it to be. Good enough. Okay. We do have wobbles in stock again. On our site, they're called Sweet Springs. So if you're looking for those. And then the bears, if you happen to be looking for the little glue bears, they're called gummy bears. So type in gummy and you will find them. There, now he's shivering. Brr, brr. Oh, I cracked myself up. Okay. Then, of course, we have to add bling and bows. So, Linda, I'm using another one of your bows because they happen to be sitting here on my desk. I'm sorry. It's just what happens. I need one with short tails. That one has shorter tails. I'm still going to have to cut them a little bit. But if you send me a whole bunch of ribbon and I'm tying bows for you, they get used on lives. That's just how it happens. And again, I like to use glue dots for my bows. The Barely Art glue will hold them. I'm just too impatient to sit here and hold the glue down while it dries. So glue dots it is. At least you know I'm working on your bows, Linda. So that's cool. And then again, I'm going to go to my bling here. And don't know if that's the one. Those are purple. Those are gray. That's too teal for me. Ooh, I could use these shiny ones. Kind of like those. I found it. I'm going to use these. These ones are from the 50s Diner. Yep, that's the ones. So this set is called 50s Diner, and we have them in stock. And we're gonna put those on. They kind of look like snowflakes. That one's stuck to my finger. Yeah, you're gonna need to stock up, Linda Lou. We have some pretty colors in right now. I also like to use my espresso to push these on. And there you have it. Challenge accepted. There is the monochromatic card that Lena challenged me to make. And there you have it. So thank you for joining me on this edition of Make It Monday. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I will put this video over on our YouTube just as soon as I can get my computer to download it or upload it, or download then upload it. You know how all that goes. But thank you guys, and you will start seeing Sandy's videos starting tomorrow night at 9:30 Central Time. I'm in Mountain Time, so that's why it's different. And I guess that's everything. So we will see you all soon. Have a wonderful day, and toodles!